Hey, and welcome to 99.6 The Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes, and what a wild trip. I mean, through the Eastern Conference, it's usually a bad omen for the Coyotes to go through the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and this time Buffalo. And what a way to cap it off too. I mean, this game against Buffalo was just as crazy as a whole trip. They come out flat-footed for the third straight game against the Islanders, the Devils, and the Sabres. The first period were just gaffes. They just didn't come out to play. They got ran over in their own zone in all three games. In the Buffalo and New Jersey game, they managed to get themselves dug into a 2-0 hole, but in each of those games, the New Jersey game and the Buffalo game, they scored a goal in the last minute to make it 2-1. And then the Coyotes come back in the second and third period. They tighten up everything. They get momentum. They get offensive zone time. They get some power plays, and they make it a game. They make it an entertaining game. And they end up eking out 2 wins. Against Buffalo, it was a shootout win. Against Jersey, they scored 4 goals on 15 shots. And then with an empty netter, Clayton Keller's first of the season. The New Jersey goalie, Mackenzie Blackwood, had an awful game. He let in 4 goals on 15 shots. And that's not to discredit the Coyotes. They were opportunistic. They scored when it mattered. And they were backed up by Antti Ranta, where any other season, the Coyotes would have lost that game full stop. But because they have 2 quality starting goalies in their back pocket, I mean, one night it's Kemper, one night it's Antti Ranta, and Ranta stole the show and stole 2 points out of New Jersey. And then Kemper comes in back against Buffalo, has a weak first period just like the rest of the team, and then shuts it down, especially in the second period when the Coyotes were hemmed into their own zone for 2 straight minutes. It might have been 3. It was just awful to watch. You were cringing the whole time. The Coyotes could not clear the puck, and Buffalo was just getting new and fresh players on the ice. And thankfully, the Coyotes escaped that 2 to 3 minutes without conceding a goal, and they come back with a power play. They tie it up with big Carl Soderberg. They go into overtime, bit of a wash. Both teams can't really put it in the back of the net. Keller missing a yawning cage. I mean, Clayton Keller's had the worst luck this season, scoring-wise. Assist-wise, he's doing great, but he can't seem to find the back of the net. And then in the shootout, Nick Schmaltz comes through, scores, and the Coyotes go home winning 3 out of 4 games on the road. A lot of questionable things happening on this road trip. I'm not liking a lot of things. Obviously, a lot of injuries are starting to creep up on the team. And we noticed that in the penalty kill. The penalty kill is not where it used to be last year, where they finished top in the league in the penalty kill. They're getting a lot of goals scored on them in the power play. That's what happens when you're missing Nicholas Hjalmarsson and Jordan Osterley, and then you start to overplay guys like Ekman Larsson and Demers, Goligoski, and Chychrun 5-on-5. That when it comes to the penalty kill, they just ran out of gas, they ran out of mental energy, and they can't really seem to get their penalty killing up to snuff where us fans know where it should be. But on the other hand, the power play has been coming through ever since that Winnipeg game. Just consistently, they're scoring. Tonight, Soderberg scored a goal in front of the net. And then other nights, it's Garland, Schmaltz, Dvorak, you name it, OEL. And they're getting goal scoring, and they're getting that goal support that they need. They're getting the goaltending, and they're just eking out wins. They've now got 7 wins, 3 losses, 1 overtime loss. They're top 3 in the Pacific. They got a playoff spot buckled down. It's from here on out. They got the playoff spot. They're not scratching and crawling like last year, where they dug themselves into a hole and they're battling back all season to try and get back to glory land. They're there, and with a stamp. They got games in hand, they got the points, they got the wins. They just got to keep it steady from here on out. I know it's another 70 games they have to play, but they know what it takes to win. They got to clean up some stuff defensively. They got to start games on time. I'm not liking them not starting games on time. Very reminiscent of 2 seasons ago, Rick Tockett's first season, where they didn't start on time. They dug themselves into a hole and they couldn't get back out of it. But this season, because they have the goal scoring support and just the mental confidence to come together as a team and just keep knocking at the door, and they're finding ways to score and they're finding ways to get points, and which is good. But I'd rather the team just start on time and be consistent throughout the whole game. Yes, it's good to get 40 plus shots on any given night, but the start of this game was really bad. The first period, I just felt really bad watching the team. And in the back of my head, I'm like, here we go. It's going to be a blowout, the first blowout of the season. But kudos to the Coyotes to keep it together and tighten up and just gain some confidence, gain some ozone time, take some shots. Even though their goals weren't flashy, they were just generating more shots and more offense, and good things happened. And they got to keep it rolling. They got Montreal on Wednesday. And then they're back home on Saturday against the Avalanche for a rematch. And they got to keep it going. This was a huge road trip to come out 3-1. Even though they didn't deserve it, it's great that they know they could get points and win games where they don't deserve to win. As opposed to other seasons where they have to try so hard to get wins. Now, I mean, it's not good to say they don't have to try to get wins, but they know if they let the foot off the gas a little bit, they could get back on track and win some games. So they're never out for the count in games. Even if they have a bad period, just put it back behind you and get going for the next period. And we'll see what happens. In other news, Brendan Perlini got traded. Remember him? He was traded along with Strome for Nick Schmaltz. And look how it turned out. Schmaltz is like a point-per-game player. He wins a game in a shootout. And then you got Perlini going to Detroit, which is the bottom of the barrel of the league. And he's been scratched 9 out of 10 games this season. Only been on the ice for 7 minutes this whole season. So, I mean, I hope Perlini gets it together, especially in Detroit now that they're in another conference. All power to Perlini to get his act together. And Dylan Strome's struggling too, so just want to keep you guys updated on that Strome and Schmaltz trade, because I know last year the Chicago fans were all over us for that trade, so now it's time for us to give it back. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support.